Spring break. And that's just not a quote from the movie. That's all of the dialogue in the entire movie. It's just James Franco, spring break.
And girls going, woo! Woo girls. This movie is just woo girls and James Franco.
I was gonna say, what more could you want? But honestly, a lot.
There's a lot
more. I could ask for heaps more.
Yeah, this movie does left something to be desired, but it is not titties, because you get plentiful amounts of those. Of all shapes and sizes, of all... in all contexts.
I get why film bros may love this movie. I think I get it.
This was Quentin Tarantino's favorite movie of 2013. Are you shocked? Is anyone shocked?
Nope, couldn't be me.
But this is The Swamp, and today we're covering Spring Breakers, and we're doing A24 April, and The Swamp is also an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
And I feel like I'm gonna let them in on the secret now that next week we're gonna cover like the newest A24 movie, or at least, I mean, I don't think any newer ones have come out since, but we're gonna cover everything everywhere all at once, and so we wanted to do like the first A24 movie, and then we're gonna do like the newest one next week. So if you want to prep yourself, sometime this next week, go to the movie theater and go see Everything Everywhere. I'm gonna give you a little bit of time to squeeze that in, because I know she's hot off the release. But this is the first A24 movie.
Oh, it is actually the very first one. I knew it,
I believe.
Okay, cool. I knew it was like the one that sort of like set them up for like the success that they've had now, but that's interesting that, because I mean, this popped off in 2012, 2013. Like, they did not come out of the fucking gates with a miss.
They knew what they were doing with this shit. They knew the whole, like, ex-Disney stars, Girls Gone Wild. Is this a social commentary? Like, literally, I can't tell.
I don't know.
I
don't know, dude. I can't tell.
Which, I'm like, I know that makes it, like, bad, like, if you can't tell, but, like, to me, this is satire. And within the first 30 seconds, I was like, whether it's intentional or not, I'm processing this as satire, because that's gonna be the best for me. The moment I heard the opening notes to that Skrillex song, what is it, Scary Demons and Nice Spirits or some shit like that,
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, so I'm going to be... This is where we're at.
Yeah.
Mentally. I have to mentally put myself into this headspace, which means I'm not taking anything seriously.
Exactly. No, having that song as your opening does exactly what they needed it to do. Like, you can't be anywhere else other than, like, where you were, I feel like. Like, I was brought immediately back to 2013. I was popping in my little Skull Candy headphones and walking from band class to science and listening to this on the way with my big-ass Osiris shoes. I was back there.
You were.
Like, it brings
you were an Osiris girl.
I don't think I ever actually had the real Osiris's. I just had, like, the kind of knockoff ones.
Knockoffs, yeah. I was always, like, I needed my feet to be comfortable, and, like, I'm, like, too awkward. Like, if I wore shoes that didn't fit me right, I was gonna fall. That's why my mom never let me have Heelys. Growing up, literally, Jen... So my mom, for a fun fact for all of you guys, Jen, who hosts Chocolate or Vanilla every week, she's my mother, and she's a physical therapist as her profession, if anybody cares to know that. But growing up, she always told me that Heelys would give me heel spurs, which is like when the bones in your foot like get all fucked up, and she made me, when I asked for Heelys, she like made me look at pictures of like people whose bone spurs had like popped through their skin, and she was like, is that what you want? And I was like, no. This sounds really harsh, but I remember being annoying about it, and she was like, no, you don't understand, like, these shoes are gonna fuck up your feet. And, like, I know, because I'm a fucking medical professional. And so then I never fucking asked for Heelys again. But she was right, because I would have gotten bone spurs. I would have cracked my fucking skull open.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I was not coordinated enough for that shit. But this movie, spiritually, I'm wearing Heelys.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like that for you. Live your truth.
So if we want to get into a little bit of recap, this movie literally has no plot. I would... And you made a really good point that there's no dialogue. This movie is, like, long, sweeping shots of, like, titties on the beach.
Basically.
And James Franco doing impression of Riff Raff. And that's, like, the whole film. But I guess if we...
I was gonna say, did they even give him a script, or did he just watch enough Riff Raff videos that he was like, yeah, I can raw dog this?
I was gonna get into it later, but I'll say now that Riff Raff did try to sue, because Riff Raff, so James Franco's character is named Alien, and it's just, like, literally just a person, it's, like, a one-to-one, that's Riff Raff, like, from the grill to the hair to the accent. Like, that's literally just Riff Raff. If you don't know who Riff Raff is, he's, you might know him from that Vine where he's like, I'm gonna blow up and act like I don't know nobody. Ha 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 ha. And he's got the big grilling. If you're not familiar with the works of Riff Raff, please familiarize yourself. Get cultured. But, so the prior year, he had released an album called, like, Golden Alien or something like that. And James Franco's character is named Alien in this, so it's like, it's so obviously, but I guess that there had been some communication between the director and Riff Raff, and like, due to scheduling or something, Riff Raff's like, oh yeah, whatever, but then they just like literally used his likeness, like, kind of without his permission. You can't really sue for them, like, just embodying someone, like, you're a famous person, you know? Like, you can't really get mad about that, but honestly, if I was Riff Raff, I'd be kind of pissed, because it's so, I literally thought that was Riff, I was like, Riff Raff is in this movie, and then I was like, oh no, that's James Franco.
No, entirely. Like, it's just, you can't even argue that that's not Riff Raff, that's just Riff Raff.
They said it was based off of a different rapper, like, they picked some other, like, Floridian like, white rapper with, like, dreadlocks, and they were like, oh yeah, it's, like, based off of this other guy, so you can't get mad at us, but...
Yeah.
Anyways, we will be using the actors and actresses' names because I don't really think I really remember a lot of the girls' names, and they're all, like, A-list celebrities, but the only one I don't know is Caudy. I don't know who she is, but I remember her name was fucking Caudy, because that was weird. But these 4 girls, Selena Gomez, Ashley Benson, Vanessa Hudgens, and this bitch Caudy, they are, like, childhood best friends, and they all go to college together, and it's spring break, and they don't have any money to go on spring break, and for some reason, it's, like, on Selena Gomez to have the money. Like, she's just, like, coming home from, like, youth group, and they're like, where's the money? I'm like, why is it her job to, like, pay for everyone's, I didn't get that, but basically, they were like, okay, well, we'll just fucking rob, like, a bank or something, and so... Selena Gomez is good and pure, and she's a godly woman, so she does not participate, but the other 3 put on ski masks, and they, like, rob, like, what, like, a diner? Like, it's, like, a little restaurant? Like,
yeah, it was a diner.
They rob the diner, they get enough money, they go to fucking Fort Lauderdale, they just, like, run topless on the beach and fucking drink beer out of those weird funnel things. And then, basically, they are, like, doing coke, they're partying, and then the cops come. And, because, you know, cops busting parties, they're, like, underage, probably, or, you know, whatever. They're doing coke, so there's no age limit for coke, I don't think. Anyone can get in trouble for doing coke. But basically, they go to jail, and they're like, you can spend 3 more days in jail, or you can bail out, and they're like, well, we don't have any money, so they're like, okay, jail it is. But then James Franco, playing Riff Raff, is like, I'll bail them out, because I'm a big-time rapper, but actually drug dealer, so he bails them out, and basically he, like, kind of holds that over, like, you guys have to hang out with me now that I bailed you out of jail. But he's, like, not a spring breaker guy, he's, like, from Florida, so he's hard as shit, and he's like, come to these parties with me, and then Selena Gomez is like, I'm really uncomfortable, I want to go home. So, and they're like, okay, bitch, bye. So she goes home because she had to go fucking film the finale of Wizards of Waverly Place or something. They, like, couldn't afford Selena anymore. Her contract was up, so she just booted for the rest of the film. And then basically, Caudy literally just does nothing except get shot. But the other 2 are, like, really into this, like, white trash James Franco rapper lifestyle, and they, like, make him fellatio a gun, and he's like, I'm fucking in love with you, and basically he uses them as his, like, backup bitches to, like, do some more crimes and, like, kill rival drug Gucci Mane, the Gucci Mane, literally the leader of the rival drug gang, and it ends basically, well, Caudy gets shot, and then she's like, I'm gonna go home, and they're like, boo, okay, I guess, like, maybe you have a blood infection, pussy, guess you can go home. So she fucking goes home, so then it's just Ashley Benson and, Vanessa Hudgens left. And they kind of go to, like, storm Gucci Mane's drug house, and James Franco gets shot, and they're in these, like, neon bikinis and fucking ski masks, and they just shoot everything up, and they're such bad bitches, and that's how the movie ends.
It was very GTA, that final scene, where immediately they're walking up the dock, and James Franco, dead. First fucking bullet flown was right into his skull. And then these girls, not even One doesn't even come close to touching them. And they shoot at least, like, 20 guys.
We're all shooting at them at the same time. Impenetrable force field around these girls. The power of titty. Like, the power of a neon bikini that says Fort Lauderdale across the ass in gothic new font. This whole time, I'm like...
It was very, like...
I'm like, have either of you ever even held a gun before today? Like, how are you suddenly, like, fucking American Sniper up here?
No. Only time they've ever held a gun is to have James Franco suck on its barrel.
That was the best scene.
Can we talk about that?
That was the best scene in this whole movie, and it makes it better that it was not written. Like, nobody could write that. Literally nobody could write that.
That's so insane.
They were like, oh, the two of you, like... point the guns at him, but then the whole point is that he'll be like kind of into it and be like, oh, you guys are badasses. And basically while they were pointing the guns at him, then he was like, it would be so in my character to just start fellatioing the barrel of this gun, which is fucking genius. Like, I don't want to give credit to James Franco because he's a fucking piece of shit. Yeah. And honestly, I don't think this, if Riff Raff wasn't a real person, I think this performance would be kind of genius. But it's not. It's just him doing an impression. Like, it's not, the acting here is not that impressive to me. I don't think that's the point of this movie. I don't think I'm supposed to be, like, admiring his ability to, like, be this trashy, I don't know, emulation of a person who already exists. But in that moment, when he was sucking the barrel of that gun, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, wow, it's giving.
No. It was so funny because watching that, I was like, okay, this awoke something for this character. He didn't know that he needed to be dominated until this very moment. He was probably after that, he's like, can you pull my braids?
Okay, also, the way that he has, like, bricks of cocaine and money on his bed, I'm like, dude, do you sleep on that? Your back must be fucked. Like, I know it probably makes you feel really gangster to, like, fuck on a bed that's full of money, but, like, I'm sorry, you could clearly afford a Tempur-Pedic, so get one.
I'm begging you. Put that shit in a safe, dude. Yeah, no, fucking on money, as cool as that might sound for some, that just doesn't sound like something that I don't know. Not in my wheelhouse. What if I get a paper cut? Yeah. You gonna get paper cuts?
The way that Vanessa Hudgens is always like, let me smell the money. I'm like, girl, do you know how dirty money is? Like, don't put your face in that.
That shit is absolutely foul. Can we talk about Vanessa Hudgens' performance in this? Because to me, either she was giving the performance of a lifetime or she was actually barred out during this.
I do think she was really good. I do think that there was, like, a weird standard, because this was really the first thing that I think both her and Selena Gomez did, like, big thing post-Disney, like quote-unquote adult movie, like, a thing that's not directly for children. And so I think that this was just such an extreme 180 that it's like they knew it was going to get them attention, like, whether it be good or bad, which, like, honestly, great publicity move on their part. Like, everyone was talking about it. I remember, I hadn't seen this movie, actually. This was my first viewing experience for the pod this week. And I remember on Tumblr and, like, online seeing the Disney Channel logo photoshopped over the cover of this movie. Like, that was my main impression, was this was, like, Vanessa Hudgens and Selena Gomez go wild. Their titties are out this time. They're gonna act crazy. Like, so I feel like the expectation was there that they were gonna act, like, fucking wild, which... It was almost overacting, but, like, I didn't mind it, because this movie it's literally satire, like...
that is what it was there for. No, it's so spot on that you said that you saw this stuff on Tumblr, because that, I think, was what this entire movie was. Like, it was very, like, peak, like, 2012 Tumblr era type shit. The entire movie was just aesthetics.
Oh, yeah. It's the longest Tumblr GIF set I've ever seen. Like... Like, the people on the beach and the color grading, every single frame had a different Instagram filter. Like, depending on what time of day it is, they just put a new one. They're like, it's green now, for no reason. They're outside the gas station, so it's green. And they're like, oh, now they're in Riff Raff's house, so it's pink, I guess. Like, just different, like, Instagram color grading filters on everything. Yeah, so aesthetic. I feel like people people use the word A24 to, like, describe... I don't want to say, like, a genre, but like a cinematography style.
It does have its own style, that's for sure. But, like, for me, I was like, this entire movie was just the piss filter.
Yeah, yeah, right. Because it used to kind of, or, like, it kind of rubs me the wrong way when people are like, oh, that's, like, so A24. Or, Or like, oh, I'd love to A24 if I like, oh my god, I would love to do like a rom-com, but like make it gritty, make it A24. Because you can't tell me that this movie and The Witch that we covered last week like really have anything in common. They fucking don't. A24 is just a fucking like production and distribution company. They don't, saying that is not, it's like a very wide umbrella. But you could be talking about Spring Breakers, or you could be talking about, like, I don't know, The Farewell, you know? Like, those are just so incomparable to me.
Exactly. No, it's very much, like, I think it's a lot of, like, all the ones that stick out that, like, people obviously reference as, like, very, like, A24 movies. Oh, it's obviously, like, Midsummer and Hereditary and Lady Bird and everything like that. Like, it's only, like, the only ones that people reference as, like, A24 movies, like, at least on, like, sort of, like, mainstream, like, film Twitter sort of shit, is, like, all, just the big ones. Like, all the big ones. Like, I mean, like, definitely, like, people talk about, like, sometimes, like, you'll touch on, like, Good Time or stuff like that, and, like, or, like, The Lighthouse and things like that, but it's not, like, those aren't the shit that's, like, coming up, like, regularly, you know what I mean? Everyone's always just talking about Midsummer.
Yeah. And I don't want to, like, sound on my high horse. Like, I'm not a fucking pretentious film person, clearly. Like, this podcast, like,
no.
We talk about, like, literally fucking Shrek, but it just, to me, I'm like, you cannot tell me that this is the origin of A24 as this trashy spring break movie, and you're gonna use A24 as this, like, holier-than-thou, ultimate cinematography, peak S-tier filmmaking term. Like, it is, but, like, it's just funny to me that that's, like, it's literally piss filter girls in bikinis. It's good. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, it's good.
I love watching this movie, too, because immediately, you know, just by that first opening song, is that they spent their entire budget on the music soundtrack and the actors, but mostly the music. You know what I mean? I was sitting there, I was like, of course there's no dialogue in this movie. They couldn't pay anyone to be in the writer's room.
Yeah, they're like,
this was all just improv.
We're gonna pay Vanessa Hudgens to rip 3 lines of coke and then just hang out for 2 weeks. And like...
And guess what? They got it.
Right? I don't know, I haven't really read into specifically what her experience was with this, but I know that her experience doing that 3-way sex scene, she said was so, like, traumatizing and uncomfortable that she now has it permanently written into her contract as an actor that she does not do sex scenes. Flat out. And I'm like, I don't want to put words out there because I don't know if this is true or not, but like I'm sure it was a little bit of a James Franco thing. He's a notable creep.
Oh yeah,
like, I'm
no,
sure
100%.
He was not. And I think all the girls in this movie are pretty young. Selena Gomez was like literally 20, which is like fucking wild to me. But I'm just like, damn, I hope Vanessa Hudgens wasn't having a horrible time on the set of this movie because she seems like she's having a really good time. So if she was having a shit time and she was acting like that, then that's acting, because I applaud.
No, I fully believe it. She is a great actress. I think the last thing I saw her in was, what was that musical recently?
Tick, Tick, Boom.
With Andrew. Yeah. Well, she wasn't even in, like, a super large amount of or anything like that, but...
Oh, you don't know her from The Princess
actress.
Swap and The Princess Swap 2? Is that what those movies are called? They're like Christmas movies on Netflix. They're called like The Princess Swap, and she plays twins of herself. I don't know, but I'm not I'm not going to be out here saying anything too good about Vanessa Hudgens, because we can all recall at the beginning of the pandemic when she said, "So what if some people die? It's inevitable." So maybe this is just her being herself. Like, maybe she is literally dumb as bricks.
Could be. Could be. But no, I'll give this one to her. I'll give it to her on this one. Damn, that's really fucking upsetting to hear that she had that shit of a time. Yeah, no, and I don't doubt it, that it was mostly James Franco driven. Who was your biggest jump scare in this movie? Because I know mine, for sure.
Brittany S. Pierce from Glee.
Yes!
Being in the church
Heather
group.
Morris?
Being in the church
or Heather
group.
Morrison? I don't know her name.
Literally just Brittany from Glee. Yeah, I was like, huh? Brittany?
I was gonna say, like, I knew Selena was in this, I forgot that Vanessa was in it, and I knew Ashley Benson and everything like that. And obviously James Franco. I did forget Gucci Mane was in this, but yeah, seeing Brittany from Glee pop up for exactly a minute and a half was just jarring.
No, I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, also, like, it was a little heavy-handed to me, the way that they're like, her name is Faith. She goes to youth group. She's gonna go right from youth group to ripping a bong. That's really gonna show our audience, like, where she's at. And I was like, okay, like, this is just... Could her name have been, like, I don't know, Jessica? That at least would have shaved a little bit of the edge off for me. Like...
Yeah. No, it was a lot, for sure. I think Selena's performance in this was definitely the most annoying. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, but like she's supposed to be kind of annoying.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. It's like the entire time, like, you're sitting there and you're like, oh, this bitch is so annoying. But then I'm sitting there, I'm like, I would be doing the exact same thing. I'd be telling my friends, I'd be like, I need to leave.
Literally, I just wouldn't go to fucking Fort Lauderdale for spring break. Dude, watching this movie gave me COVID. Like, watching all those people be in such close proximity to each other, and, like, people just... I don't understand, like, okay, clearly, I host a fucking movie podcast. I'm not the kind of person who goes to Fort Lauderdale in spring. I mean, maybe those two things aren't mutually exclusive, but I've never spent a spring break doing anything other than, like, hanging out with my mom and, like, watching movies. So that says enough about me and, like, my relationship to the content of this film. I understand partying. I understand liking to get drunk with your friends and, like, be on the beach, and, like, that's fine if it's crowded, music, DJs, whatever. The pouring of liquor onto somebody's body for no purpose other than just, like, the excitement of, like, I'm gonna dump a whole beer on this girl's ass. So wasteful. You're 20, dude. You're 20, and I'm sure that beer was $9. Like, what do you mean you're gonna pour a whole Natty Light onto this girl's tits? It's gonna be sticky. She's gonna be sticky, it's not gonna be good, and nobody is absorbing any alcohol.
Yeah, no.
I'm pissed. This is so wasteful.
No, for me it was the idea of being so sticky and just covered in beer after that really just made me want to crawl out of my skin watching those scenes. I was like, I could not have, and you just have to sit there in the hot sun for the rest of the day, basically. I mean, like, I guess go wash off in the ocean, but still, that's not gonna do the trick. You're just gonna be a sticky mess.
The way that they had the same bikinis on from essentially the time they arrived until after they had gotten bailed out of jail and had been hanging out with fucking alien for, like, at least 48 hours. I'm like, all of you have UTIs. No doubt about it. All of you have UTIs. Like, please put on pleat underwear.
Anything. I'm begging you. I was sitting there, I was like, there's no way that if they're in jail, they wouldn't give them, like, someone's old sweater that they fucking left there.
Lost
Those
and
girls
found.
would get clothes.
The way they stood before the judge, I'm like, you would not do that to an old man judge. They would at least make them somewhat presentable. Maybe not, though.
I don't know.
To make a spectacle of it, I guess. But
could you just imagine, like, fully, like, like you were saying before, like, you spent all of your spring breaks hanging out with Jen. Could you imagine wanting so desperately to go to Fort Lauderdale that you said, yeah, I'm gonna rob people. I'm gonna fucking mess up this diner, the local diner, hold a fake gun to everyone's head and traumatize the shit out of people so that I can go to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, you know that TikTok sound that's like every group of friends got and then it's like different things, and I forget what they all are, but then the last one is just Harry Styles. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm probably not describing
that one.
I'm probably not describing it good, but this is like every group of friends got the annoying religious bitch. The bitch will just go along with anything anyone says, and then two literal psychopaths who have bloodlust literally, like, get off on hurting people. Like, the way that they drilled home in this film, they're like, no, these two girls didn't just rob to get here, they want it in their hearts. They're evil and violent people at their core.
This is who they are.
All right, back at it again. I always start these intros the same way. Back at it again with another chocolate or vanilla interim segment game hosted by my beautiful, wonderful, amazing, and lovely mother, Jen. She comes on, she just says two things, we all say which one we like better. It's a fun little game. Woo, breaks up the show. Super swell. Jen, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you for the intro. So sweet.
Oh my god, you're so welcome. Is there a theme this week?
There is a theme. It's not related to a movie. It's just foods and things that are sweet and things that are salty.
Okay, so this does kind of fit, because there is a character in this movie named Candy.
Oh, perfect.
So that kind of fits a little bit. But I would say this movie is salty in the way that people are doing cocaine.
Oh, God.
And that's not super sweet, I guess. I don't really know. But in a roundabout way, I do think this is very fitting. So let's fucking roll.
All right, I am going to say I didn't want to go a sweet versus a salty because I felt like people would, like, lean one way or the other. So it's like it'll alternate a sweet, then a salty, then a sweet, then a salty.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So it's not whether you're a sweet person or a salty person. It's 2 sweet things against each other, then 2 salty things against each other.
That is correct.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Okay, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate. Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
You know, I'm gonna go strawberry this week. Why not?
Wow, crazy. Full Neapolitan sweep, as you would say, Jen.
First one, Pop-Tarts or Cinnabons?
I love a good Pop-Tart. And I like the flavors that are kind of fucked up, too. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the standard, the strawberry, the cinnamon. You get the huge box at BJ's. It comes in, like, a 50-pack. But I do like the fucking ice cream sundae and the
so
s'mores.
Good. That was my favorite.
The cookie dough. Like, the really niche flavors. They do have ones that are kind of fucked up that are, like, root beer. I don't fuck with a root beer Pop-Tart. Like, don't get me twisted on that. But a s'mores Pop-Tart. And also, do you heat up your Pop-Tarts?
Depends on the day.
I used to put mine in the toaster.
Yeah. Which is how you're supposed to, right?
That is correct.
I would microwave them if I was lazy. Like, if I was like, I need this done in 30 seconds, not 45.
Yeah.
I would do it in the microwave. But I love a good toasted Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
Or if you put them in the freezer.
Oh, I've never done that.
It's like a chocolate bar in the freezer, a cinnamon.
No, I wouldn't have thought. Yeah, I'm sure Dara grew up on Pop-Tarts. They're also just way more accessible than Cinnabon.
Cinnabon's only at a mall, and I don't want that while I'm at the mall. I'm on the move. I'm at Forever 21 finding fucking deals. I'm 12. My mom dropped me off. Your mom is picking us up. Like I don't have time for Cinnabon. An Auntie Annie's pretzel at best.
Some of the sweet glaze with it. Yeah, no. I'm going for the Pop-Tarts on this one.
I am going to say that after I dropped you off, you had no idea that I was just having a goopy mall Cinnabon while you were shopping. So next one is ramen soup or pepperoni pizza.
I would say, so here's my evaluation, right? Ramen is either a 10 or a 2. A 10, you're out at a restaurant who's doing it right, like full-on ramen experience. Or it's like I'm sad and it's like microwave ramen by myself, which is depressing. But I feel like pizza's riding at a solid 4, you know, where it's like, it's never amazing, but it's never as depressing as microwave soup is. So I'm gonna have to go with that one because it's more like consistently the same.
I was thinking the microwave type too, because like that is salty, right? It's like so salty.
Yeah.
See, I think you make a really good argument here, Dara, but I am on a ramen kick right now. And even like the microwave stuff at home, I'll like do like fancy, like I've got fucking green onions growing in my window, and I'll add a little grated garlic to it and all that shit.
Kind
Maybe
of
put some
doctor it
tofu in
up.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll give her the works and all that shit. So I'll still go with the ramen.
See, all I ever do is just put a fried egg on top, so it's just adding cholesterol. Like, it's like, oh, this is already just salt noodles, and now I just need a fried egg.
Adding cholesterol to my high blood pressure.
Yeah.
I am going to go with ramen too. That has definitely like crossed generations. I used to eat ramen soup back in my day too, for sure. Next one is Twix versus Snickers.
Oh, this is really tough. I feel like they like fulfill different cravings in my soul, but I think I'm a Snickers girl because a Snickers is like it's a hearty candy bar. It's almost like in lieu of a granola bar, like when I need to be full. Like, I'm desperate. It's 4 p.m. I've eaten nothing, and I still have 10 hours of work to do, and I'm at a place where, like, I'm at the fucking vending machine. What do I get? A Snickers. I know it will calorically fuel my body in a way that a Twix simply can't. It's got the nuts. It's got the nougat. It's just got, like, a condensed amount of nutritional density.
I've been not a Snickers, but a Twix bitch my entire life. I don't know. Snickers just doesn't really do it for me. I don't know if it's just too much going on there, but I like the simplicity of a Twix. The cookie, the caramel, the chocolate, that's it. She's for me, so I'm gonna pick the Twix.
I'll have to have Henry make you millionaire shortbread sometime. Henry's not like a baker per se, but he does make a super fire millionaire shortbread, which is basically just like the bougie cookie version of a Twix. It's like a shortbread cookie with a fat layer of caramel and then chocolate over the top.
Oh, stop.
They do it on
Emily
Great
is
British
getting
Baking
in
Show
her
all the time,
car
yeah.
and driving to your place right now.
Yeah.
I would say Snickers, but I feel like Snickers for me falls in this category of like, I'm so happy when I'm eating it, and the minute I finish it, I feel gross. But I'll definitely take Snickers. Next one is a triple. Bacon, pancetta, or prosciutto?
Those are arguably all the same thing. Bacon, pancetta, or prosciutto. So I just gotta say the universally bacon for me, because I only want pancetta in some scenarios. I only want prosciutto, like, in some scenarios, but I think bacon I can kind of, also more accessible. I think it's a little cheaper, just across the board, easier to me and for me. Emily's Googling right now what pancetta is.
Busted.
I had to, like, no, for real though. Like, I had to remind myself. I was sitting there. I was like, wait. What one's pancetta? Because I know what pancetta is, but for the life of me, I couldn't remember it. I just know it because I make carbonara,
diced.
but I never actually use pancetta.
Yeah.
I think pancetta is kind of fucking nasty.
Texturally, it's kind of in between a bacon and a prosciutto. It's almost like bologna texture.
Yeah, I don't
chewy,
fuck with that.
more like
Chewy,
deli meat
yeah.
texture. Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
if you ever cook it, for the first, like, minute of it cooking, it smells foul. I don't fuck with pancetta like that. I made, like a really, like, strictly, like, by the book carbonara once. And then I was like, never again. I'm doing the Americanized version. I'm using bacon. And so for that, I'm definitely, I mean, just in general, but also because of that, I'm going to choose bacon.
Nice. I'm definitely going to say bacon too. Sometimes, Dare, you say there's an obvious choice here, and I feel like, yes, bacon is it for this one. Next one is marshmallows or macarons.
I don't fuck with marshmallows, really. Like, I'll eat a s'more, you know? I don't like to make them. I'm not patient like that. But if somebody makes me a s'more, I'll eat it. But as a rule, I find the texture and lack of taste in marshmallows to be off-putting, personally. And I love a little macaron. I like to treat myself. Like, when I'm feeling fancy and I go to the Whole Foods rather than, like, the normal grocery store, and they have those little coolers full of macarons at the front where you can, like, make a little box of 6 or something. That is when I'm at my fanciest. That is when I am living my bougie life. And I'm like, ooh, I'll get the coffee one and the raspberry one. And I just, like, scarf them down in the car, like, in the parking lot, like a feral animal. That's the only time I ever eat macarons, like, literally ever in my life. But I love, shout out fucking Whole Foods, I guess.
Whole Foods baking section, it goes crazy. I was just there, and they've got, like, the cookies by the pound all on sale. Oh my god. But yeah, no, similarly to Dara, marshmallows don't do much for me. If I'm sitting around the fire, I will have strictly one s'more, and that's it. People that can have more than one s'more, if you're having 3 s'mores, you scare the absolute shit out of me. But I do also love a good macaron. If I walk into a coffee shop or, like, a little bakery and they have them, I'm buying them. That's that. Like, there's no question. I don't care that I'm spending $20 on 6 macarons. It doesn't matter to me. Money doesn't matter when it comes to these things.
I was going to say macarons too, and I think that they are a, like, litmus test for, like, a line in the sand item for any baking competition show. Like, if you can bang out a good macaron, and they always slam that tray down. And next one is soft pretzel versus hard pretzel. So, like, a pretzel from a ballpark versus a pretzel from the bag in the store. Yeah.
Okay. I want to say soft pretzel because it's good, it's nice in the moment, but like, similarly to answers in my past, there's a limit. It can be good, it can be bad. A hard pretzel is always the same. And also, for some reason, I don't know why you, like, let me and my brother Ryan, like, just invent, like, this word and you never corrected
combination.
us. We called it combination, which is just, like, a general term for any combining of 2 things. But growing up, the word combination strictly meant dipping hard pretzels in cream cheese, which, what? I literally, that is my first association when I hear the word combination, is a hard pretzel dipped in cream cheese as a little snack. And I've never met another soul who does this. I've never met another person on the planet who dips hard pretzels in cream cheese. But I think it's so normal. And everyone's like, this is, like, that's good, but it's weird. And I'm like, why was this such, like, this was more popular than, like, potato chips in our house growing up.
Good,
like, more
good
often,
but weird is, like, that's our family. Good but weird. Like,
I know, but, like, more than Cheetos, Doritos, Fritos, no. We were having combination. Like, what? And so, for that reason, for me, it must be a hard pretzel.
No, see, for me, a soft pretzel falls into the same category as a macaron. If they have it, I'm getting it. Especially, like, now, like, since, like, turning 21 in the pandemic, and now I go to, like, breweries and pubs and all that shit. And there's always a soft pretzel there for me, waiting with open arms to give me a sloppy kiss on the mouth.
With that awesome big salt on it, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so definitely a soft pretzel for me.
Yeah, I'm going to take soft pretzel also. All right, next one is Boston cream donut or Boston cream pie.
Donut. Pie has too much. Like, I don't fuck with Cool Whip. And too often in life, people add, like, a substantial amount of Cool Whip to any pie just to give it, like, height. And I'm not really here for that. And, like, a Dunkies cold brew that will make me shit my pants, and a Boston cream donut is exactly the way I know what I'm getting into.
Sarah's looking to shit her pants if this is what she's ordering.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that to me, a Boston cream donut is almost overwhelming. So the pie is just totally way too much for me. So I'll go for the donut because it's almost overwhelming. I'm just teetering the line, but sometimes I can do it.
Same, I'm going to take the donut with you guys. Next one is homemade Chex Mix or store-bought Chex Mix, like from a convenience store in a bag.
I gotta say, Jen, I do love your homemade Chex Mix, but I think we all have our gas station snack that is the thing that on a road trip or a car ride you will go in, and mine is the cheddar Chex Mix, and like a big Arizona iced tea. That's the thing that will get me through the car ride. If I'm feeling sweet, Muddy Buddies, but most often it's the cheddar. The cheddar Chex Mix just really toots my horn. The homemade comes once a year, but the store-bought is there for me every time.
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask if you meant, because, like, whenever I think homemade Chex Mix, I think, like, the Muddy Buddies, or whatever it's called.
A Christmas crack.
Yeah. Which is good, but it's just not for me. And I was also going to ask what your favorite one was, because I just recently, this weekend, for the first time, and it's probably been, like, over 3 years, I had the cheddar Chex Mix.
I'm going to go with the oven-baked one. Next one is Cheez-Its versus Cheetos.
Cheez-Its.
Nothing else to say.
That's it. That's simply it for me. It's Cheez-Its. I love the extra toasty ones that are, like, a little burnt.
I'm gonna have to go Cheetos. I think Cheetos were probably, like, my favorite. Like, you remember when you were little and your parents would get, like, the big bag, like, the mixed bag of chips and everything like that, so you could take them to school? I think Cheetos were usually the ones that I'd go for, so.
Oh, see, mine was the sour cream and onion
also
Lay's.
I'm definitely going to go Cheez-Its, though, on this one. Next one is churros versus brownies.
Brownies. I like, a churro's fine, but when am I going to have that? When I'm in fucking Epcot at Disney World? One time when I'm 12? Like, no. Churros, it just doesn't come up enough. I love a brownie.
That's very true, but the whole thing is, I'm not that big of a chocolate person. I pick vanilla every single week. I've yet to choose chocolate. Yeah. So a brownie is kind of like, I'm not going to say my enemy, but it's one of my least favorite desserts. So I'm going to go for a churro.
Yeah, brownie's a lot of chocolate, but I'm going to take a brownie. Right. Next one is Lay's chips versus Pringles chips.
Lay's Pringles are fine, but I feel like it's a certain mood. And honestly, after Pringles, it's like your hand gets stuck in the can. Like after you're a third of the way down, it's just kind of tough. Pringles or Lay's, you can rip through a whole bag of Lay's by yourself in 10 minutes and feel no different. You're like, where did it go? Where did the time go?
No, I'm a Lay's bitch through and through.
Yeah, same. We're going to take the Lay's. Next one is caramel versus maple syrup.
So, throughout my life, I think I would say caramel, but in this moment, I'm going to say maple syrup because Henry and I bought this huge, like, I think a half-gallon jug of fresh maple syrup from the farmer's market a couple of months ago when we moved here, and we've been putting it in our coffee. So black coffee with a little bit of like fresh maple syrup in it. So you definitely use significantly less than you would any other like sugar or creamer in your coffee. Black coffee with a little maple syrup, so fucking good. Like,
that sounds really good, but caramel is like one of my favorite things. Like little caramel candies, I love that shit. So I'm gonna stick with her.
A Werther's. Oh, Werther's.
Not even a Werther's. I mean, I guess a Werther's. I don't like the hard ones. I like the chewy ones. Like for years, my movie candy was Milk Duds. I was ready to risk it all just to rip my teeth out.
We had this acquaintance in high school who had this strong theory that if you like Milk Duds, that means you're gay. and if you don't like Milk Duds, that means you're straight. And that was the hard line. And so they would just, like, ask people, like, thoughts on Milk Duds? And people would be like, yeah, I love Milk Duds. And they'd be like, gay, and then, like, move on. And this was, do you remember this? And it was just, like, this hard line. And forever now, associated in my mind is I'm like, Milk Duds equals...
No.
Like, I don't know
That's
where
an
this
interesting
came from,
theory, though.
But it just...
Huh.
Yeah, it was everyone who likes Milk Duds is gay, and everyone who does not like Milk Duds is not gay. And that's the rule. Super
I love
weird.
that, though.
But Milk Duds was also my go-to movie theater candy, so I was like, huh.
I mean, it panned out for me.
I am gonna pick caramel. I'm with you. I like caramel so much. Next one is the last one. Steak fries versus crinkle cut fries versus shoestring fries.
Literally nothing offends me more in this life than a steak cut fry. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? Who in their goddamn mind is picking a steak cut fry? No. At that point, just form your potato in a different way. And crinkle cut is like, yes, I will accept it, and shoestring is superior. The thinner the fry, the better, the more crispy, the more crunchy. A fry is a vehicle for sauce. That is my stance. And a fucking steak, if anything, I'm not picking what I like here. I'm picking a side to stand against. And I am against the steak fry. Fuck a steak fry.
So what one did you choose?
Shoestring.
Oh my god, sorry, I got so lost in that rant that I didn't even hear what your choice was. I like a crinkle cut fry, but I feel like they're never crispy enough for me, you know what I mean? Like, it's gotta teeter that line of, like, crispy and soft. So I guess I'll go for shoestring.
Yeah, because why would you want a soft fry? If you're eating a steak fry, just eat mashed potatoes. Or eat a baked potato. Or eat a different form of fucking potato, you psychopath. What the fuck is a steak fry? Nothing.
I'm gonna take steak fry. No, just kidding. No, I'm kidding. Shoestring.
My own mother against
Shoestring
me on the
me,
pod.
yeah.
A knife in my heart.
Oh my goodness.
That was it for salty versus sweet chocolate or vanilla.
That was really great, Jen. Now I'm fucking hungry. So thanks for that. You got me thinking about like Chex Mix and French fries. But anyways, thank you, Jen. I'll try to post these on our Instagram probably sometime over the weekend. I've been trying to get better about doing that. So salty or sweet, we'll have that up and you guys can all vote. I send them to Jen, and every week it's pretty 50-50 on chocolate or vanilla, honestly. So it's like sort of I'm not gonna say it's a me versus Emily thing, but like I feel pretty like at least you feel outnumbered every week because it's like a 2-to-1 situation typically, whereas I feel like you probably feel pretty
I feel pretty seen, but I don't think Vanilla's ever actually won on our weekly polls, so...
No, but at least it's not like...
Yeah, no. I got some
here.
people behind me on this.
But anyways, thank you, Jen, so much for joining us. This was lovely and amazing, and we appreciate you dearly.
Thank you. I love you guys. Have an awesome week.
Oh my god, I will say one of my favorite quotes from this movie was the line, "Seeing all this money makes my pussy wet."
Oh my god. This movie is a little too heavy-handed with the foreshadowing to me, because she says that, and then later they like fuck on a bed of money, and I was like, okay. Or she like basically like sells out her friends, like abandons her friends for like this guy who has a lot of money. But it was the gun. It was the gun for me, the squirt gun shot thing at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I was
immediately.
The like slow panning shot of her like doing shots out of this little gun prop. I'm like, there's no way that something extremely violent isn't the end of this film. It's not her either killing herself or like shooting something up. I'm like, literally, I know this from the first 30 seconds of this movie, like what is going to happen. And I was like, this is just the most heavy-handed foreshadowing I think I've ever seen. Not that I like really cared, but I was just like, okay, I already know the plot of this film. Like, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Did you feel disappointed by the fact that there wasn't much of a plot, though? Because you said you know the plot, but there is like hardly a plot. It's such a loose plot.
Right. I wasn't really bothered because it was like 90 minutes. If this was like, if this really ran too much longer, I think I'd be pissed. I also think there were just enough moments to zap me back awake. Like literally like you're losing me, and then James Franco's fellatiating a gun, and then you're losing me, and now Gucci Mane is here. Like, literally every time I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, something else bizarre would just happen, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you still got me. Like, I'm still here.
And that's one thing I will say that kind of feels like a staple. I don't want to say staple A24, but I've definitely been in that position a handful of times watching A24 movies where I'm like,
you're losing me.
I'm getting so bored. I'm getting so bored. You're losing me. Like, Uncut Gems. Like, it's a good movie. It's a great movie, if anything, but there's certainly enough times where I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is a little much.
Uncut
I can only
Gems?
stare at Julia... Huh?
Uncut
Gems? I was
Gems?
gonna say, I was like, I can only stare at Julia Fox's ass for so long.
Oh, dude. I love that she's so unhinged in real life. Like, the fact that post Uncut Gems fame, we've all found out that she's also just, like fucking insane. Like, I just love
I love it.
It makes so much sense.
It's it was the most entertaining thing from, like, February to, like, the end of March for the last 2 months, was just seeing her go absolutely wild.
I do have to say, I watched this while Henry was, like, half watching. He was, like, mostly playing video games, but he, like, sat, you know, in the vicinity, and he had the best line, and he said it, and then he was like, you can steal that, and then he was like, actually, like, I do need you to credit me because it's so good. He said, you gotta keep an eye out for Selena, but more importantly, Selena needs to be keeping an eye out for her friends. The way that Selena is, like, the mom friend in this, and then she's like, guys, like, literally, he's a drug dealer, we need to go home. And they're like, no, you're a fucking bitch. I'm like, I don't know, maybe you should be listening to, like, your one responsible friend, clearly. Okay, also, I'm, like, hard pivoting now, but also in the opening of this movie, where they're in their lecture, and she draws, like, I heart dick really big on her notes.
Oh my
and she, like,
God.
holds it up. And then Vanessa just draws a big penis and, like, pretends to deep throat it. I'm like, that's when I was like, I'm, like, deciding whether this is satire or not. And I'm like, for my own sake, I'm deciding yes. Like, in this moment, I'm deciding yes.
For my peace of mind, it has to be satire, because there's no other option.
I think that this would be a genius film. Genius, absolutely brilliant, unmatched critical thinking levels if this was made today. Exactly as it is, with, you know, whatever actor, but, like, if they could so capture that 2013, like all the same plot, the same, you know, obviously maybe younger actresses for the sake of, but I'm like, the fact that it was made in 2013 loses, I'm not really as impressed. But if you were to have such a keen sense of capturing the way that time period felt, and you could do it now, oh my god, my socks would be blown off. If I walked into a theater today and a movie opened up with that Skrillex song, I would literally shit my pants. Like, Moment for Life by Nicki Minaj. Yeah, right. Like, the Osiris shoes, the shitty swag you get at, like, the store at the beach, like, just, there was just something about it, and I just think that I'm less impressed because it was their reality, it was their truth. But to me, I want somebody to have that level of galaxy brain genius to do it today.
No, you're so right for that.
Dude, are we gonna write a movie that takes entirely place in a shopping mall? Because
I think we have to at this point.
That would be my, like, 2013. It's like at the Bath and Body Works, dousing myself in, like, warm vanilla sugar body spray.
Yeah. I need a monologue in the very back end of Spencer's.
Yeah. Feeling really rebellious.
Yeah. You get Sbarro at the food court.
Oh my god. I was a Orange Julius kind of girl with an Auntie Annie's pretzel.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. So did you have any favorite part of this movie? Because I can tell you without a doubt, the interpretive dance with guns is my favorite part.
Oh, when they're, like, all holding it, like, Ring Around the Rosie, and he's playing the piano as the sun is setting by the pool, that one.
Yes, singing Britney Spears.
Yes. That, I was like, okay, this is High School Musical 4, and he's just Kelsey, and Vanessa Hudgens is just herself, but instead of auditioning for the musical, she's playing Ring Around the Rosie with some fucking machine guns. And I'm like, this just seems like a natural progression of what was happening.
Of course.
At that time. I'm like, why do you have a piano outside?
Yeah, no, it makes total sense.
It's gonna get so water damaged, it's gonna be untuned within 10 minutes, like, the humidity's gonna fuck up the interior of the piano. Why do you have a piano outside? I know it looks baller and everything,
absolutely
but just, like,
destroyed.
If you're a true musician, you know that that's gonna fuck your shit up. It's gonna be an out-of-tune piano.
Are you getting True Musician from James Franco in this movie?
I am not. That's where I drew the line, honestly. I'm trying to think if I have a favorite scene. I mean, obviously the him deep throating the gun, just, like, that is what elevated this film from, like, if I was giving it a 5 before, I'm giving it a 6 now, you know?
Yeah.
Like that bumped it up a whole star for me. I also, just that whole scene where he's like, this is the American dream. Shorts, every fucking color, Scarface, on repeat. And he just, like, has, like, ninja stars and, like, a bunch of flat flat brim hats on the wall. I'm like, oh, the characterization of this person is just so to a T.
Absolutely spot on. No, they couldn't have done it better.
I'm trying to think. I do think that the end scene where they shoot up Gucci Mane's, like, penthouse is just so absurd. It's just so absurd. Like, he's in a hot tub. They're in ski masks. They, like, ride in on a fucking, like, motorboat. What? The ending of this movie is the absurd ending that I knew it would be, that this movie deserves. I will say, I didn't really care for a lot of the, like, opening, like, gratuitous sweeping shots of, like, people just partying. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
There's only so many times I need to see, like, 1,000 people, like, crowded on a beach and nobody's wearing clothes. Like, okay, like, yeah. Maybe that's just because I'm from America and I, like, get it. Like, that's just a thing that is, like, I don't know. When you say spring break, that's what you think. So, maybe that's just me, but I didn't really care for that.
This movie is quite strictly just money, guns, drugs, and vibes.
And Natty Light, literally a corporate sponsorship from Natty Light. This is my spiel. This is my little sex ed corner spiel for all of you at home who, if you're not aware, if the media, including this film, has pushed on you that it is possible for you to have sex with another human being underwater, that I just want to be the first person here to tell you that you shouldn't do it. Like, you probably can physically make it happen, but it's not going to be good for anyone. Water is the anti-lube. Water, when it gets up in your genitals, it provides friction. When they have that whole threesome scene in the pool, I'm like, this cannot be good for anyone. Those are, the rank bikinis they've been wearing for 6 weeks now. Because I guess they're just not going back to college. They're both dropping their liberal arts degrees. What do you think they major in? I think Selena Gomez is nursing, for sure.
I'm definitely getting nursing.
Yeah, for sure. What about Vanessa Hudgens? I feel like maybe...
Oh, God.
I mean,
just something super basic, like communications. She has no idea.
Communications. Yes. Ashley Benson, maybe, like, business, but she will totally drop out once she has to take a single accounting class.
Fair. Very fair. And the other one, what's her name?
Cotty.
I have no idea.
Cotty literally is not enrolled. Cotty is currently not enrolled. They forgot to, like, kick her out of the dorms, and she just happens to stay. She's there.
No, I can tell Connie's not enrolled because here's the thing: is once she gets shot, she lets James Franco, who's smoking a blunt, take a bullet out. Not even stitch her up. He didn't stitch her up. There was not a single stitch in her arm. He just took the fucking bullet out of her arm. And my favorite thing is while he's smoking his blunt, he, like, hands it to her and she's puffing on it and all that shit. I'm sitting there, I'm like, that would make me being shot so much worse is if I'm getting high after I got shot. Not only would that make the pain, like, 10,000 times, like, more, like, uncomfortable and just indescribable, but also I'm freaking out already. You know what that's gonna make me? Flip out even more.
Suddenly I'm gonna be able to... I can feel my bones, like, a little too much.
If you can't tell, I'm a person that gets, like, really paranoid when they get high.
Right. But the way that afterwards she, like, has all this gauze on her arm, and she's like, besties, I'm going home. And they're like, you're so lame.
Why?
They're like, oh, Cotty, you should stay. This is our literal new life now. And she's like, I'm oozing some sort of strange liquid from my body.
She's like, I need to go home before I get, like, the worst bacterial infection and they have to chop off my arm.
Before somebody dumps a Natty Light on my open gunshot wound. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Literally wild. I'm sorry, but if you find yourself at Virginia Beach, you should fucking stay there. If you find, when they're like, we all really think we found ourselves here, like, this is where we're meant to be. I'm like, if your name is Candy, though, if your mother names you Candy, Fort Lauderdale's calling, baby. Your legal government name is Candy, like, you live in Fort Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm. That adds up. Do you want to hear one thing that doesn't add up in this movie?
What?
For me, it's the amount of liquor that these girls are drinking And not a single one of them is bloated. They're in bikinis the entire weekend.
It was Ashley Benson's perfectly curled hair for me. Her cute styled bob that even after days in prison is still that bitch does not have curly hair. That is curled with a wand. You know the way curls look, that they're all going in the perfect same direction because you did them with a fucking curling iron, not because you have curly hair. That's what her hair looked like. I'm like, what? What is this? Also, Vanessa Hudgens' wig in this movie rivals the Nicole Kidman wig. Nicole Kidman always is in a wig. Vanessa Hudgens' wig here is Nicole Kidman level wiggery.
You're so right. I didn't even think about that, but you're so right. She's coming for the throne with this one.
But, so do we want to get into our regularly scheduled programming as far as... So, I feel like as far as Fuck, Marry, Kill, should we just do the main 4 girls, but just exclude Connie? Yeah. Because who fucking cares? Sorry to that actress. I'm sorry that, A, you're the only one whose name I don't know because you, weren't in a preteen show that I watched growing up, but also the character of Connie does nothing but drive the getaway car. She gets shot and drives the getaway car. She has no discernible personality otherwise. So
literally nothing. The main
obviously I'm gonna kill Selena. I'm gonna fucking kill
Selena.
Yeah, duh. She's so annoying. And then I feel like Ashley Benson seems a little less unhinged between the two of them. Vanessa Hudgens is serving unhinged. So I'm gonna fuck her and then I'll marry Ashley Benson. Because maybe I can convince her to get away from Fort Lauderdale. I'm gonna give her a Pedialyte and a makeup wipe, and then I'm gonna set her straight. I'm just gonna be like, girl, this was just this was a one-time thing.
See, I didn't get that at all. I got more unhinged from Ashley Benson, but thinking about it, I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess I could see either way. Here's my thing is, I think I'm gonna fuck Ashley Benson, and then I'm gonna take the stance of I can fix her with Vanessa Hudgens. We're gonna do some unlearning. We're gonna go to couples therapy. We're gonna have a healthy relationship. We're gonna work it out. We're gonna talk about her demons, why she is just full of bloodlust.
These violent tendencies. Maybe we'll get her a hobby. She's gonna get really into I don't know, rock climbing or
exactly,
archery.
Yeah.
So something physical.
She's gonna get really good at fucking frisbee golf or some shit.
No, but ultimate frisbee, the one where you tackle each other.
Oh yeah, no, I think she'd crush.
She's gonna be D1 women's field hockey. She's gonna rebound from this, and she's gonna be a D1 athlete at whatever bumfuck college.
Rugby. It's rugby. It's not. She needs someone to tackle. So I'm gonna marry her, and I'm gonna fuck Ashley Benson, yeah.
And then out of the whole movie, I'm obviously gonna marry Gucci Mane, clearly.
Yes.
He's got his shit figured out. He's the only person of sound mind in this whole film for even a second. I feel like maybe I'll fuck Brittany from Glee, who's in the youth group, just cause, I don't know, I want a church girl who goes to church and reads her Bible. I was gonna say that I'd fuck the youth pastor, but he was not cute. I just specifically recall being fuck, marry, kill, not on the table. And then I still think I might just kill Selena Gomez for her own sake, honestly. If you found yourself in Fort Lauderdale, your life's only going downhill from here.
True enough. So I'm also gonna marry Gucci Mane, and I'm gonna kill James Franco because he is taking away from business. I'm gonna do what James Franco's girls did, and I'm just gonna go and kill him instead. I'm gonna put a gun in his mouth first, though, and I will pull the trigger.
He's gonna come in his pants so hard that just death on sight.
Exactly. And who am I gonna fuck? I guess I'll stick with Ashley Benson. Yeah,
she's very hot. I remember she was She was always my favorite bitch in Pretty Little Liars.
I never watched it.
Oh, that show was I stole somebody's Netflix login. My family didn't have Netflix yet, but I'd hung out at a friend's house and I was like, oh, we can use my computer, kind of thing. And then I used somebody else's Netflix to watch all Pretty Little Liars when I was in definitely 7th grade.
You devious bitch.
Yeah, that show's whack as fuck. Then as far as what you would eat and drink, I really don't have anything super poignant to say other than trashy alcohol and beach food.
It's a Four Loko.
Yeah, it's a Four Loko and some watermelon, it's just right. But also maybe this makes me kind of want a lobster roll. Is that wrong?
Interesting. Yes, but for you, if that's what you want, then no. I think it's a Four Loko, and then I'm thinking, what's the fast food they're gonna have around there? I think you either get whatever, either Popeyes or KFC. Okay. You get that. Because personally, I was thinking, okay, in my head, for me, it's a Wendy's 4 for $4. But I'm okay, put myself in Fort Lauderdale. I feel they've definitely got a KFC nearby. Or
you're eating the diner food that they're robbing. You get a really greasy Reuben sandwich, maybe. That feels like something you'd what would you only ever eat at a diner? A slice of pie?
That feels wrong. You could also, I think, make a cocktail with Hypnotic or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, something really trashy. What also just came to me was those candy necklaces, but they make them into bikinis for bachelorette parties. Wear one of those and just munch on your own left tit of shitty Smarties candy necklace while you're watching this movie. That would feel really right to me.
That's genius. No, I really like that. A Four Loko and your boob candy.
And then, some sort of cocktail that, has rock candy in it for some reason. Or, has, you drop a glob of cotton candy into your whatever martini and it just, dissolves or
Here's
some
what
shit
you do.
like that.
Here's what you do. Is you go on, do you know the Tipsy Bar? Or, I think it's called the Tipsy Bartender or some shit like that?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, sure. He's this, eccentric man. He makes, crazy, wacky cocktails and everything like that and all that shit. And, oh, you could do a fishbowl, actually.
That's really... And put Swedish fish in it. Dump candy into it.
Yeah. No, that's actually a better idea. Yeah. I was thinking about, what he does, and I was you can pick anything off of his page. No, make a fucking fishbowl.
Of AMF.
Yeah.
Do AMF in a fishbowl, but you gotta share... you can't have that by yourself. You're gonna
personal fish bowls.
Personal AMF fish bowl. But make it AMF in a fish bowl. Maybe use a little more Sprite than is typically in one, and then add some Swedish fish candies, and that would be so trashy. Something that is a special at Applebee's. Whatever's exactly. on the end of summer, August at Applebee's. What is the specialty cocktail? Drink that.
Specialty order the shark gummies. So what would you follow this up with? Because I have one answer strictly.
Boy in the striped pajamas, no question.
Oh my god.
Schindler's List, no question. I just need to...
So hard left on this, right?
Yeah, I need something else.
Interesting.
Maybe The Green Mile. Yeah, I'll settle with The Green Mile. I think after this I need to watch The Green Mile.
Fair enough. See, I said the gripe I think I have with this movie is that it is so wandering, you know what I mean? No plot, it's a lot of doing nothing and all that shit, but I do like a fucking party movie and all that shit. And so if you want to move backwards, instead of going from high school to college, you go college to high school, you could watch Project X. Because I had a fun time watching that movie, years ago, and it definitely is a little more plot driven than this. I don't know. I think it's a little more fun. This is a decent movie, but I think I would say I enjoy that one a bit more. So, but that's just me. Or you can watch Schindler's List.
Yeah, I've never seen Project X, so I can't really weigh in on here. I typically am not a fan of the one last party to save our social lives kind of one last party before high school kind of shit, but I did like that in this one they were at least in college. If they tried to pull this off of it just made obviously the plot is spring break, which is a very college thing, but I'm not usually a huge fan of when they try to pull it off like they're in high school and they make them do crazy shit like this. I'm like, literally, that is just not the case. Like,
to Euphoria.
Yeah, like, literally, where are they getting the money to, like, host these kind of events? Where did Lexi embezzle the money for that play? I need to know. But out of 10, I'm just gonna give this a 5. Like, I liked it and it was fun to watch, but I don't really see myself revisiting it anytime in the future. I think, like, if somebody brought it up, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a movie I've seen, and that's about it. Yeah. I'm glad I've seen it, because, like, literally my only impression was, like, Tumblr gift sets, but, like, literally, now that I've seen it, my only impression is still Tumblr gift sets. Mm-hmm. So that's about where I stand on this.
I'll give it a 4.5. It doesn't do very much for me. I can, at times, appreciate it for what it is, and I can certainly see it. I'm like, okay, like, A24's little beginnings and all that shit. But it's just not for me. I'm sure that if I watched this when I was 14 years old, I would have had a very different impression. But I think the first time I watched this was, like, maybe 2 years ago or something like that. So, I don't know. Like I said, it's decent. It's not my favorite. But also, James Franco does suck the barrel of a gun, so
yeah,
it's gotta count for something.
You can't get that kind of content anywhere else.
No.
But, so I am really excited, though, that we decided to do this little, for A24 April, we're doing I think it's the very first. Somebody will correct me if it's not, but I'm pretty sure this is, like, the first A24 film, and then we're gonna do the newest one next week. So, I've already preached this in the past, but if you can't do it this next week before the episode, go do it soon. Go watch Everything Everywhere All at Once in theaters if that's something that is safe for you to do in your area. Please go at like a weird, like, a Wednesday night showing or whatever. Have the whole theater to yourself so you can, like, scream and cry. That's what I like to do. But I loved it. I can't recommend it enough, and I'm so excited to talk about it with you next week, so definitely tune in for that. Oh, I've just been feeling a lot of love lately from the listeners. We've been getting a lot of really nice messages, just overall really positive. Honestly, I'm surprised, like, with TikTok, you know, we'll get the mixed bag of comments, but, like, as far as direct DMs go, genuinely, when we started this podcast, I was like, oh my god, we're gonna get hate mail. Like, somebody's gonna be like, you fucking idiot, you don't know jack shit about movies, because it's true. But,
because that is literally the case.
Nobody has ever said anything, like, even close to rude or, like, short of lovely, but just lately I've been really feeling the love from all you listeners, so thank you. And I just wanted to say that I really appreciate you, and every movie that you send in, I write it down on a little list and I put a little heart and with your name next to it, because I love all of you and I appreciate you. And so does Emily. I'm not just speaking for myself, I'm speaking on behalf of the swamp. So yeah, this was Spring Breakers. I guess if my parting message here will be, don't fucking go to Fort Lauderdale for spring break. Stay home, save your money, get ahead on your homework, go to youth group, I guess, if you're Selena Gomez. And you can, like, usually drink at home for way cheaper than the tiki bar. So.
I know your mom has better wine.
There will be no James Franco riffraff jump scares in your small hometown life, I promise you. Maybe worse, though, arguably. But anyways, we love you and we appreciate you all, and goodbye and good night. 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 And goodbye and good night.